bring in Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, outgoing head of the Senate Judiciary Committee and incoming ranking member of the Senate Budget Committee. Great to have you here this afternoon, sir, and welcome to America Reports.
Thank you.
I'll start first on the Amazon story. If it does turn out that Jeff Bezos and Amazon put politics ahead of public health, should there be some sort of accountability there?
I don't know what kind of accountability you would have, but let's ask ourselves the following question. Is Jeff Bezos friendly to the Democratic cause? Yes. He owns the Washington Post. Yeah, I think it's pretty bad that if they had this capability, they should have shared it with the Trump administration. Here's what I think. The drug companies had the vaccine. They knew it was going to work days before the election. They waited to after the election to announce it. I think if it had been a Democratic president, they would have announced it before the election. I think what Amazon's doing is pretty disgusting. If in fact they could have helped the Trump administration and they chose not to because they don't like him, that's not a good moment for the Amazon company.
And we know the drug companies provided their own explanation for why it took those long days, but Amazon doesn't seem to, when Fox News reached out to them, be providing clear explanation of this. Senator, you have been intimately involved in the past administration. What so far has been your communication with the Biden administration?
Not much. I talked to Tony Blinken, the Secretary of State nominee, who appeared before the Foreign Relations Committee, and I was stunned. He said that China is involved in committing genocide against the Uyghurs, a minority Muslim population in China. He believed that Iran was the largest state sponsor of terrorism. So he gave very candid answers, but that's pretty much been my contact.
Senator, let's move on to impeachment, because it looks like an article of impeachment will at some point be going over to the Senate from the House. Nancy Pelosi saying earlier today that it would go over, quote, soon, and also saying this about calls to not have a trial in the Senate. Listen here.
I don't think it's very unifying to say, oh, let's just forget it and move on. That's not how you unify. You're going to get a get out of jail card free because people think we should make nice and forget that people died here on January 6th.
Obviously, Senator, what happened there in the Capitol building on January the 6th was horrific, but now we've moved on to a new administration to go back and try to have a trial in the Senate purely for the reasons of making sure that President Trump can't run again for federal office. Is that worth potentially jeopardizing this grand unity that President Biden is trying to achieve, or at least says he's trying to?
Well, that'd be up to Nancy Pelosi. If she sends the articles over under the law as it exists today, the Senate will drop everything and we'll move to a court of impeachment. And my hope is that we will do this quickly if the articles come over. It shouldn't be drug out. There's not a whole lot of facts to be discussed. You know what happened. You can make up your own mind. I think the unconstitutional argument is persuasive. I'm hoping a Democrat or two will believe that impeaching a president out of office is bad for the presidency, bad for the country as a whole. So my hope is that if we do get the articles of impeachment, that we move forward quickly. We're not going to do two things at once. We're not going to enact the Biden agenda in the morning, impeach President Trump in the afternoon. If the articles come to the Senate, we will focus on them exclusively. I look forward to making the argument that this is unconstitutional, and we'll see what happens.
Real quick follow-up on that, Senator. Do you mean no witnesses, no evidence? Do you mean that quickly?
That'd be up to the presenters. If I'm the Trump team, I don't know if you need any witnesses here. My belief is that what the president said at the rally is not incitement under the law, that the people who defiled the Capitol made a conscious choice to do so. They should be held accountable. And the question that needs to be asked of Speaker Pelosi, regardless of the reason people came to the Capitol, how could an unarmed mob 20 years after 9/11 occupy the House and the Senate? That, to me, needs to be talked about a lot, not just during impeachment, but afterwards. How could it be 20 years after 9/11, a group of unarmed people could literally take over the Capitol during a joint session of Congress? I'd like to see what she says about that.
Senator, some Democrats are accusing Republicans of giving reconnaissance tours to people in the days ahead of the riot there on Capitol Hill. Congressman Steve Cohen accusing Lauren Boebert, Republican of Colorado, of doing that. Let's listen to what Cohen said and then what Boebert said.
We saw Congressman Boebert taking a group of people for a tour. Now, whether they were people that were involved in the insurrection or not, I do not know.
These claims are just ridiculous. It's part of a laundry list of conspiracy theories that the Democrats are heavily involved with.
Congresswoman Boebert, Senator Graham says that she was showing family around, and Congressman Cohen, you could barely hear him there, but he says whether these were people that were involved in the insurrection or not, I do not know, yet they're throwing these accusations around.
Yeah, Congressman Cohen from Tennessee has been a very destructive voice in all of this. He basically accused every white member of the National Guard of being a Trump supporter that had to be checked out in terms of their ability to defend the Capitol. I want to thank the National Guard and all those who made the inauguration safe and flawless. If I were her, I would sue the guy for slander and make him give a public apology. I can't think of a worse thing to say about a fellow American than they were in on the effort to defile the Capitol.
Senator,
I would never say that unless I had really rock solid proof.
Real quick, with the few seconds that we have left, you've seen the number of executive actions that this new president is taking in the first couple days of office. What concerns you the most that you've seen him do so far?
Well, he doesn't have the ability or doesn't have the will to stand the left down. These executive actions, I think, are going to make us less energy independent. It's going to hurt the economy, but that's a political debate. President Biden could, by picking up the phone, stand down impeachment. He could say to Speaker Pelosi, President Trump is in Florida. I'm ready to move on. It's time for the country to move on. His refusal to do that shows me that he really doesn't have the ability or the willingness to unify us, because that would be a layup. So I believe that Republicans are going to unite strongly around the idea that this is an unconstitutional effort to impeach President Trump, and that in the coming days we will get this trial behind us.
Senator Lindsey Graham, appreciate your time this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.